Hey everyone, it's Sam here from Sugar Spun Run, and today I'm showing you how to make fried apples. Fried apples are great any time of the year, but I especially love making them in the fall. This is a really simple recipe for cinnamon fried apples. I think you're going to love it, so let's get started. Now the first thing you're going to need is 2 pounds of Granny Smith apples. You do want to use Granny Smith, they're nice and tart, and we're going to be adding sugar and cinnamon, and the tartness from that apple is really important to giving you a good balance of flavor. Now I've found that if I'm using large Granny Smith apples, I usually only need about 4 to get to 2 pounds. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to peel these apples and you're going to want to core and slice them. You really don't want to leave the skins on because if you do, what's going to happen is they're going to get really tough while we're cooking our apples. In order for your apples to cook evenly on the stovetop, it's really important that you make your slices even in width. I like to enlist the help of my apple slicer and corer for this. My apple slicer still makes these slices a little bit thicker than I'd like, so now I'm just going to go and cut each of them in half lengthwise. We have our first apple down. Now you'll just want to repeat these steps with your remaining apples. Now that we have our apples prepped, we're going to head over to our stovetop where we can start frying them. You're going to want to start with a large skillet. Now your apples are going to cook down and get a lot smaller, but when you first add them to the pan, they're going to take up a lot of space. It's going to be hard to mix everything together, so you want something that's a pretty good size. You'll need a 1/2 cup or 1 stick of unsalted butter, and we're just going to add this into our skillet and we're going to melt it over medium heat. Once your butter has melted, you're going to want to add your apples into the skillet. Now along with the apples, we're going to add 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, a 1/4 cup of firmly packed light brown sugar, 1½ teaspoons of ground cinnamon, a teaspoon of lemon juice, and just a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now use a spatula or a wooden spoon just to kind of work all of the ingredients together. See why you want to have a nice, deep, large pan? It's going to make everything so much easier. Now once you have everything nicely combined in your pan, I like to reduce the heat to medium-low, so just turn it down a notch or two, and all you have to do now is just cook these apples over medium-low heat until they're nice and tender when pierced with a fork. Now you want to make sure all your apples are cooking evenly, so make sure that you're stirring them pretty frequently while you're cooking. So these are looking pretty good right now. I can tell by moving them around with my spoon they've softened, so let's just go ahead and pierce them with a fork and see how they are. So these are nice and tender. When I'm piercing them with a fork, they're not mushy at all. You don't want to cook them until they get to that point. So at this point, all I like to do is remove them from the heat, let them sit for about 5 minutes, let that syrup thicken a little bit more, and then go ahead and serve them. So these fried apples have had a couple minutes to sit, so I'm going to help myself. And that is how easy it is to make homemade fried apples. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's recipe video. If you try this one out, let me know what you think, and let me know how you serve your fried apples. I love them with a side of vanilla ice cream or even over buttermilk pancakes. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. They have such a good flavor. I think I'm gonna go get myself some vanilla ice cream. Hey, if you guys enjoyed today's homemade fried apple recipe, I would really appreciate it if you would give me a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Also, if you enjoyed today's recipe video, here are a few others you might like as well.